Hey guys, how you doing? So I just did a video on one for those who are under 100k and looking to get stable, those who are between that and around 5, 6, 700 and have plateaued, and another on those who are recruitment search business owners who have been in that place of, right, I know things need to change, I know that the one-to-one model, the old model is broken, and now the hand has been forced due to COVID. During those videos, one of the things that popped out of my subconscious was, niches. So I just want to give you a little bit of insight to what I've seen firsthand from niches. And again, this isn't giving direction on your business. I don't know your starting place rather on your business. I don't know your metrics. I don't know your personal background. I don't know your niche health. I don't know the impact of COVID on your niche, etc. So let me just see what I've seen firsthand. So just really two simple things to take. First thing, with your business. When you take a decision on your business, that decision on your business, say for example, you sack your VA, or you sack one of your team, or you change something on your website, take that out by a year, 2 years, 3 years, it might have a minimal experience. If you change your niche, take it out by 1 year, 2 years, you're at 90 degrees straight away. Completely different destination, completely different part of the world. So, big decision. There's two things I've seen really quickly which have worked extremely well inside, in fact 3 things, thinking about this, be of use to you since COVID. So number 1, should I change my niche? Possibly, I don't know your niche. So I'll give you a proactive view of where I think a good focus would be, but again, I don't know what your background is. Number 1, automation. Automation is going to become huge, control automation. That would be, if I had a child at degree level now, I'd be focusing on that type of thing, if they weren't going to be an entrepreneur. Automation. Additionally, e-commerce, supply chain is going to get more and more so. Third one, cybersecurity. All 3 of those are going to be big areas. So automation, e-commerce, supply chain. I said e-commerce straight supply chain. It might be separate. Of course, it breaks down to logistics and all sorts. And then we've got cybersecurity. We've got members in all 3 of those, and we've seen firsthand that those are very ripe. So again, I don't know your background. You know, when I speak to a new member that comes in, one of the things that I do their game plan, and on the game plan, it can last hours. But one of the things I do is ask for that person's track record. So we got a gentleman who joined us recently about 6 weeks ago, and this guy asked for his track record from age 20 through to where he is now, which is 40. And I want to see what his track record is. And the reason why is because he's in gaming. And I want to see what he's done, which is relevant to gaming and search since the age of 20. And the reason why is we can create some authority, you see, around his niche, because most recruiters in gaming and most search specialists in gaming are actually not gaming professionals or technical professionals. They're the big biller mindset type of thing. Whereas that niche, they want the binary focus, yes, no technical specialist, which this guy is, but he wasn't demonstrating it to the outside world. So I don't know your niche, I don't know your background, etc. But one thing I do know is I could go into any niche in the world, create a website, create a LinkedIn profile. I could create a LinkedIn network of 5, 6, 7, 8,000 in the first year for clients, one for candidates. If they've got me, got my spouse, or got my VA. So I could build a network very quickly in any of those: cybersecurity, e-commerce, automation. I could get a website built that shows that's my specialist area. I could run a campaign that would bring in leads for each of those. And I've got a conversion piece. And again, how do you convert? Your client's got three distinct needs: speed of hire, cost of hire, quality of hire. And that is indicative across every niche in the world. So you can go into that conversion call fairly confident you can convert as long as you've got a system in place. We call it the client attainment system. Then you deliver the candidate. So role comes in, you make sure that when you go out and you connect with candidates, or you build a data set of candidates, you run webinars for candidates, or you run podcasts for candidates, then your candidate side matches your client side. So you get the role and you've got the candidate. So those are niches I go into, number 1. Number 2, within the niche, right now, everyone should be focused on getting paid. So how do we do that? Well, one is going retained, and retained comes down to, I'm not going to focus on retained now, but retained is fairly simple to do. It comes down to deal flow and authority. I'm not spending too much time on that right now, and leave it at that, okay? But one is getting retained, so you get paid in thirds, whatever your cycle is. However, if I give an example for one of our members, so one of our members works in private equity, venture capital, and in his model, there are 4 areas. There is PE, a private equity, venture capital, sovereign, and there's another one, I think it's family. Anyhow, we had a strategy session, and on the back of that strategy session, what came out was the decision-making process. So our member runs a campaign, and it goes into the decision maker normally, okay? Decision maker responds, then we got this cycle of response normally within, let's say, 3 days. We have a one-to-one on day 5, T&C is assigned on day 7, then we get into a 90-day delivery model, etc. However, what's happened since COVID is and I can't remember which one it is, whether it's private equity or venture capital, or indeed sovereignty, but one of them, because COVID's happened, it might be sovereignty, think about it, because COVID's happened, is the campaign we run to get leads now goes into a decision-making process. And what I mean by that is it goes into what used to be a decision maker. Now there's other people involved. Now HR involved. Now we've got budget involved. Now we've got, so what that means is we're not in control of the relationship and we're not in control of the cycle. So what I've recommended to this member is we go into, let's say that's sovereignty. That's where most of the track record was from. What I recommended is we focus purely on, or majorly on the venture capital side of things. And the reason why is we've got a direct relationship between the decision maker. They have the capital, they're in charge of it. So we have a campaign that goes direct to them. So we get a direct response around that, around the are you hiring? What's your budget? What's your need, etc. All the standard stuff, but we've got a direct relationship and a direct timeline. So we are in control of the relationship and in control of getting paid. So in terms of niche, again, it could be within a niche or it could be part of the payment timeline. So we call it the client's contract pathway. So a role comes in, or indeed you want the role to come in, when do you get paid? We want that to be as short as possible. The more people involved in that decision-making process, the more problems you're going to have. So right now, get paid. So you might change a niche within a niche to get paid. It's a second component. Third component, we have a really cool member, And I won't share his name on this occasion because it's only that duplication. And what I mean by that is people going and doing unsavory, unethical stuff. So this guy is an absolute legend, loving the bits. He was in a niche which was massively hit by COVID, and when he joined us, one of our strategies he ran. He got 80 one-to-one appointments. So one-to-one appointments by sending out 500 of a template. So the guy has got the kahunas to go out and do it. Anyhow, because of the market and what's happened with COVID, it meant that the roles are on hold. So at some point we've got to say, right, they're on hold. I've got all these whales, all these massive contracts I never thought I'd ever get. This is his words, not mine. But we just can't execute them. So what do? So what he's done is he's pivoted into a new niche. And what his strategy is, which is really cool, and this can apply to any niche if you think about this, is step one is you go into your client, a typical client, and you run an assessment process of the current client, of their current talent pool, the current staffing, all charts. So for example, say you go into the sales department of a bank. You're going to run an assessment process, in this case using this tool, against their staff, and there's a fee for that. In this case, it's 10,000. Then what that does is they run the assessment tool, and it'll isolate these are the bottom 10%, these are the next 20, 30%, etc. And then invariably, what the client will say is the clients will say, right, well clearly we need to exit the poor performers, which might be the bottom 5%. They might have a directive to actually decrease the team by 10%, whatever it might be, from above, which is why they're doing this assessment in the first place. But then what they're doing is this: there will be well, tell us, you've got this process where you can analyse, externally the quality of the team. What that then does, it opens up a void. So if we exit these 3 people, can you bring in 3 people which will meet the standard of the top 30%? Yes, I can. So then you get a fee twice. You get a fee for the assessment and you get a fee for the actual recruitment search component. So all things are not lost. All things are not lost. Now I was giving you 3 insights there about niche, and niche is is huge. It is huge. And say to do $1 million, you just need 50 placements of 20,000. So it's better you have 50 placements within one niche or within 1,000 niches. Obvious. But I rarely speak to someone who says, right, my niche is this, bam, 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 bam. They know the numbers make sense. So there's 7,000 clients, there's 30,000 candidates, nice healthy number. But on the flip side, we've got a member with 42 candidates. So it's not a one rule for all, but you've got to think about what do you need in my niche? Well, I need to get to 100,000, or I need to get to 500K, or I need to get to $1 million. Right, what are the numbers behind it? 50 placements, 20 placements. And those three options there are niche, something to consider. Again, I'm not giving you a business directive. I don't know you. I don't know your starting position. I don't know your history. I don't know your niche, etc. But don't sit with your head in the sand thinking everything is fucked, because it's not. It's not. It's been a particularly hard time for me. I think I'm the most positive person in the world, and I've had my wobbles. But put good stuff in, good stuff comes out. Take the time out and just replay this and go through your three options. Take care.